Politics tonight, digging beyond the headlines. And now to our interview with the guest of the day. I am joined by a technopreneur and policy analyst, Adeniyi Ahmed Jukutu, for discussion on federal government's launch of tech initiative to empower 3 million Nigerians. Thank you so much for coming on Politics tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Right. So before we get into some of the policies that have been put in place by this administration, Nigeria's first attempt at GDT started as far back as 2001, and I mean, several years after that, there have been several institutional structures and policy frameworks that have been put in place. What would you consider as the biggest threat or threats to this set target?
Basically, government will come and go. So, and there have always been policies, but the follow-up to the policy that, has to do with policy somersault, and each government coming in place, coming with the ideas, new ministers coming with their own ideas, and not having a proper follow-up is basically, one of the things that has affected. However, the private sector has really done well in the tech ecosystem. So whatever we are today in terms of savviness, in terms of contribution to the GDP, as at last quarter, which is Q2 2023, the contribution to the GDP was 19.5% of the ICT sector. So that is a good one, and which has always been on the rise in the last 5 years. So the sector is growing, though is not up to its full potential, but the policy somersaults and infrastructural issues has actually affected, taking the sector to the right, position. So
how would you describe the way Minister Bosun Tijani has started, the way he has begun this work?
Very well. He's started like an egghead, like somebody in the ecosystem of ICT that understands the sector. 1, 2, I think something that I think is working for him is somebody that has combined the industry with the academia. So I think this is an advantage for him. So he's been able to understudy the sector by being a practitioner, and he has combined the academic knowledge, So I think so far he's, doing well. One of the things that I want to commend is the issue of 9 Post. Good idea. Making it a business hub and what have you. So far so good, and a lot of ideas. He gave out some policy statement and his cardinal direction relating to what he intends to do, has to do with knowledge, policy, capital creation for startups and all that. So I think he is on the right direction, and infrastructure. So he mentioned that he is going to improve on the infrastructure that he meant on ground and, increase the figures. So I think so far, so it's too early to call though, but so far so good. Is on a good trajectory.
All right. So the ministry announced the launch of a program to empower 3 million technical talents by 2025. What impact do you think this will have in the country?
Basically, empowering people with knowledge is the bedrock of ICT development. I'll take, for instance, let's take India. All of us would think about, India becoming the, for example, Bangalore, which is the second largest ICT hub and second most sophisticated ICT hub in the world. You know that they didn't just start today. We have similarity with India in terms of colonization and what have you. And I tell you that they have been able to develop far beyond us because they laid emphasis on knowledge. And the challenge that I think that we have had is that, Nigeria, is that we have not been able to, metamorphose from the certificated ideology to skill development. And how do I explain that? We've had universities, UI, the University of Lagos of this world, and several private universities that are churning out, knowledgeable people in science and innovation and, ICT. But the challenge is that we had emphasized on certification, not on skill sets. Okay. So which India, discovered early enough. So they were concentrating more on skill set. So with this, not certificates. They had their own issues before now. In the 70s, you cannot go to India and say you want to bring a certificate to Nigeria that, okay, you finished from school. They will recognize people graduating from Unilag or Ife or UI than you, or Nzuka or Ahmadu Bello than you coming from India. But they concentrated developing the educational sector, now focused on skill set development. So now with this policy of 3 MTT, that's 3 million technical talents development program by the Ministry of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy. What we'll have is that we will be producing, skills that are needed. And some of the skill sets are data analysis, data science, AI and machine learning, game development, cloud computing, cyber security, and what have you. So these skill sets specifically, though they are being taught in universities, some of them are in the normal curriculum for people that are studying computer science. Virtually, majority of the universities and colleges and polytechnics in Nigeria has computer science departments. But the problem is the focus has been on certificate and giving HND in computer science or computer engineering or what have you, but not on skill set. So with this kind of idea, what this will do for us is that technically sophisticated people that understand that this skill set can solve a real-time job situation problem are the people that will be produced with this kind of program, which the minister and its ministry and its affiliating agency, which is NITDA, has started. And it's not just left for government. Private sector have been doing a lot of cyber ops and startup centers, incubation centers in Nigeria, has been training people on these skills. But what they've lacked is that overall support. So, but with the minister coming from that background, with the support, I think the right skill set, when it's given out, Nigeria will become an exporter of talents.
I'm about to ask her, because I'm about to ask, how feasible is this?
It's extremely feasible. As a matter of fact, I'm overexcited because I understand the gap. The gap is the universities as Department of Computer Science, the Polytechnic as, the College of Education as. But the challenge is that the skills that they are learning, some of these, animation, data science, product management, they are courses that people take, but they are, being examined just to write examinations. Some cram the theoretical part and pass exams and have BSc or BTech. But what this type of program will do, and the minister understanding this gap, is that people will have that skill set. If I say I'm AI person, I'll be able to solve problems, in a real-time situation, in a job situation, become a professional AI person, not just carrying certificates. If I'm a web developer, for instance, I'll be able to develop a website, front and back end, and turn that website to a money generating or to an information providing platform for the person that has hired me. So therefore, if these skills, somebody that is saying, okay, I'm a web developer, will be able to develop as much as possible website anywhere in Nigeria and anywhere in the world. So that is talent who can be sorted anywhere. He can provide any solution anywhere in the world, like anybody that has been taught or trained in America or in India or in Israel or anywhere in the world. So therefore, if we are focused on producing talents, what will be an advantage for us is that at the end of the day, we have multiple, because of our population, so we will have multiple eggheads, talents, technology talents that would be an advantage and an exporter of knowledge for us as a Nigerian. Right. Let me tell you the shortage that we have. At Concari Report 2023 reported that there is going to be 85 million tech skills shortage by 2030. 2030 is just few years down the line, like 7 years down the line. We're almost in December, we're almost in 2024. That means 6 years down the line, 85 million shortage of this skill set that we're trying to, that the ministry and Nigeria is trying to be focused on is going to be shortage all over the world. If that is the situation, the time is now. The time is yesterday. Not just for the ministry, for the financial institutions, for the university. And I want to advise the minister and the ministry that already the university have their structure. So move your trainers to the universities and say people in computer science department or anybody that is interested in product development in ABU or University of Calabar or University of Lagos or University of Maduguri, please fill this form. We are taking you on cloud computing or on animation or game development. If you do that, automatically you are going to be producing talent directly from the university, not just certificates. And this plan and focus to become an exporter of talent will be seamless and will be easier to achieve for us as a nation.
All right, so let's now talk about execution, because we know that planning for a program is one thing, execution is another. So what hope should Nigerian youths have about this?
Yeah, it's, these things are easy because I personally, to test the, the interface, I registered for the 3MTT for one of the courses, just, for knowledge sake,
to have an idea.
To have an idea of what the platform, robustness, and it's easy to navigate. And I tell you, just few steps, you are there. And I went further to interrogate, the portal, the page. And what, I saw was that, questions were, laid and answers were offered to give people better insight. That, okay, for instance, if you are not being selected now, the space is still wild. I think their plan is 1%, 10 to 100. So, but the execution, that is the first phase. As anybody that, registered, with them on the page, which is, I think NIDA would still share before the end of this program, NIDA.3MTT, nida.gov.ng or thereabout. So we'll be so specific before the end of this program. That is to say that when you register, you will surely be trained because, the advantage of technology, they will keep track of all the people that have registered. They said if they are not in the first 30,000, they will be in the next 300,000, and eventually they will be part of the first 3 million on this program. And I tell you, people should not have the fear. Anybody that has done computer science, either BSc or HND or something related, even these trainings are far beyond, because you can see that some of them, cybersecurity does not require you, it can be in health sector and you do cybersecurity related to health. So some of these, disciplines are related to different sector of the economy. So the moment you have flair for knowledge, going to university or colleges, please, you can, advance your skill set, because these are things that are needed to enhance even employability or create your own job going forward.
All right, so more than 3 million SMEs are to benefit from this skill innovation. What does this mean for the country's economy?
Okay, the implication is that when you look at what Alert and the Vice President's office, launched yesterday, they are more focused about SMEs. And what they did is while the other one is focused about, creating high-tech skills talent, the other one is more focused about, so that means we are talking about 6 million Nigerians. And the program is not even talking about the youths. 45 and above is there. So it's an open opportunity for you to have a skill set. So I want the media to support the government and Nigerians so that enough people will know that this program is existing. While they do that, the 3 million SMEs alert training, what that is focused on is training SMEs or MSMEs, micro, small, and medium scale enterprises, about ability to scale their businesses. How do I mean? Somebody sells in the market in, let's say, Abeokuta, this person makes adire. You need technology to boost your business so that people outside Nigeria can see the type of clothing you make so that you can scale that business. That is what that is focused on. So why that is focused on MSMEs, on scaling their businesses, teaching them technology skills, this other is focused on talent creation, which is a good one. I think the administration has started very well.
So how will you describe modern business environments, digital skills in the country and the impact of such program?
Any country, anybody that wants to scale, because the world is becoming a global environment. Now, you see Nigerian tailors, you see Nigerian SMEs producing and having customers across the globe. The same way you be on your phone and order something from China or US. So now, transborder boundaries are being taken away because of globalization and technology. So what the focus should be is that the benefit for businesses is that this knowledge is needed. They should not even take it, in classrooms. Take it to the ops, to the marketplaces, to the ops. Teach people directly. There was a program held in Abeokuta for employment and something that was held in Ogun State last week. My contribution was take these things to the people. Take it to the market. Teach them how to scale. Teach them how to use these technology tools to be able to scale their businesses. Somebody that has a shop, for instance, only 100 persons pass through the person's shop. Maybe it's in a corner in a market. But the person has a mobile phone. And you can teach that person how to, do an advert on either of the platform, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the person has 2,000 or 100 persons calling in to buy products. If that person continue in that direction, that means the business will grow from a micro to small and from small to a large company. If IT skill training is being taught to those people, even from the universities, so the entrepreneurship is almost in almost every university.
Yeah.
So, and these are the direction. America focused on it. China focused on those focused on that sector, and that helped them to grow and snowball from, small companies were moving up. They were scaling easily. They were becoming exporters because they were able to develop through, the use of technology, which is a good, policy for, for people, the SMEs and the practitioners, with direct involvement and, inclusion of the people. I tell you, different states has its own advantage in Nigeria. And if they use technology to drive the businesses, even it will automatically improve our GDP.
Well said. So let's get the Vice President's statement. I mean, according to him, it says MSMEs, which are expanding to 40 million, have the potential to lead business innovation beyond Africa. How feasible is this?
It's achievable. And what will make it achievable is the knowledge. If they don't have the knowledge, you see people do businesses in Nigeria and, get stuck. So they can't scale. The reason why you can't scale or people can't scale is because they have been unable to properly utilize technology. They have been unable to understand what it takes businesses to snowball, to the next stage. So if these things are taught directly, is a direct, enhancement or business enabler for people, because the government will have done their own research and see that most of the MSMEs are still stagnant. Normally, companies are supposed to grow. Somebody has, done business for 20 years or 15 years. The business has not moved beyond one branch, which is not supposed to be. So if these, things are properly followed through, and we do not have the issue of policy somersault, another thing I want to say is that these policies should have a convergence point.
Okay.
They should have a convergent point, because when everybody is trying to compete, in terms of policy, different ministries, different offices, it leads to lack of unism. And when there is no unism, it becomes competition. Now, what people do is collaboration. So in this same government, that means they should be talking about 6 million IT from MSME's job to 3 million talents. That's 6 million. So when they converge the agenda, which is job creation, talent creation, and overall technology and business development for Nigeria, I tell you, they can only improve. When we are talking about 3 million 3 million, 6 million in maybe 1 or 2, 3 years, we will be going beyond that. And again, all other private, sectors, NGOs, universities, and all that should be encouraged. We need this. We are talking about 85 million shortage in the next 6 years across the globe.
So, in that regard, how will you describe the future of the digital economy in Nigeria?
The future of digital economy is very, very. Nigeria is about what is the percent? We are about 29% internet penetration percentage in Africa, and presently our about the leading light of tech usage in Africa, internet penetration, and what have you. Now, if we can, be holistic with this and follow through, the ICT sector is about 19.5% contribution to GDP. The agricultural sector is 23.5%. Do you know the implication? Do you know the implication? The implication is that as at Q2 2023, now the implication for Nigeria is that this sector, this ICT sector, will surpass the agricultural sector. And if it surpasses the agricultural sector, that means this sector should be taken seriously. And when it's taken seriously, I tell you that Nigeria is going to develop from this. We have the knowledge, we have the skill set, but we need to develop it so holistically and drastically to be able to compete with countries like India, at least at long run.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Ojikutu. It's been wonderful having this conversation with you. I've been speaking with a technopreneur and policy analyst, Adeni Ahmed Ojikutu, as we focus on the federal government's launch of tech initiative to empower 3 million Nigerians. Thank you so much for coming on Politics Tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And thanks a lot for watching. That marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But the conversation continues from here. We're also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Olajumoke Olatuji. Goodbye.
The Lagos Cocktail Festival is back. Do you love cocktails? Would you like to sample free cocktails, network and have fun? Enjoy cocktail offers Thursday 19th and Friday 20th of October at the Cocktail Village, Balmoral Convention Center, Federal Palace Hotel, Victoria Island from 4 p.m. and across all registered bars in Lagos. Buy your wristbands online on www.lagoscocktail.com. For further inquiries, call 0903 970 2993. This event is supported by Lagos State Ministry of Tourism, Sterling Bank, Balmoral Events, The Rouge, Chivas, Flirt Vodka, Star Radler, Desperados, Absolute Vodka, Beefeater Gin, Omega Tequila, Valentine's, Nestle Water, Johnny Walker, Captain Morgan, Gordon's, Morning, Vulcan Tequila, Jack Daniel, Famous Grouse, Smirnoff Vodka, Bombay Sapphire, Douce Cognac, TVC, and Max